You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Brian Mull is our guest. Star News reporter, been following the Seahawk basketball story, and that's what we're talking about this morning. So there's a search committee in place.
Correct.
To solicit candidates. Do you know who serves on that committee? How big a committee is it?
The committee consists of the athletic director, Kelly Mertens, assistant AD,
Joe Browning?
Pat Howie.
Oh, okay.
The executive director of the Seahawk Club, Tim Duncan, and Dr. Tom Barth, who is a professor and
Political
also
science.
on the faculty athletic council,
Okay.
I believe. So it's kind of a small group, not as expansive as some other committees they've had over there in the past. And
Now, so they go out and search out talent?
well, I think that
Put out feelers if people are interested? You wonder how the process works.
the coaching fraternity is very tight, and I would say within 48 hours of Benny Moss's reassignment, any coach, assistant or head coach in the country who possibly would want this job or be interested in this job was aware of it and was beginning to do their own homework to find out, just the investigate, what are the facilities like, what's the budget like,
What's the
what
support
type
I'll
of
get?
yeah, what type of personnel am I dealing with? Am I going to have to go out and recruit a whole new team the first couple of seasons, and coaches talk and text and kind of get a grasp for it before they even decide whether they want to be interested. And at the same time, the athletic director is doing some of those same things,
Right,
and kind of forming her own list.
We talked about Benny Moss coming in at the height of his, when the program was at its height. In some ways, this could be a good time for someone to come in because the program is at a low and there's nowhere to go. I mean, they could look really good
There's
if
no
they have some
question.
talent and some ability to develop the team.
There's no question. It's the fan base, I think, certainly hopes this is rock bottom. And, I know there were a few fans that made the trip up to Richmond for the first round of the CAA tournament. And, UNCW played the first game of the tournament at noon and was out of the tournament by 2:15. It's almost like you're not even there. And the sentiment was really, hopefully we'll look back on this 5 years, 10 years down the road and say, that's where we started climbing back up again.
So who really makes the final choice? Does Mertens make the final choice?
Absolutely.
But the elephant in the room is Chancellor Rosemary DiPaolo. Mertens might make the final choice, but she certainly has the red pen.
Certainly, yeah. And DiPaolo will be aware, and to my knowledge, she and Mertens have a good working relationship. But whenever approached or asked, DiPaolo says that's Kelly's.
Always defers, yeah.
Defers, that's her department. We trust her.
Do you believe that?
She was her hire,
Uh-huh.
I'm really going against the recommendations of some of the people who interviewed the candidates for that position. And so certainly she's,
A lot of names have been serviced. You've thrown a few out yourself in some of your blogs. Nolan Richardson was the name you threw out that you were, and you said you were going to try to get in touch with him. Did you ever?
I did.
Yeah.
And he was great. He called me back the next day. I never felt like he would be a very serious candidate,
Okay.
and he was not. He is actually getting involved with a WNBA team as their coach, and looking forward to that. But he's a guy who's won a national championship.
Sure. It's a good name to throw out there. It got my attention. You also, of course, Jerry Wainwright, who is such a charismatic coach. I mean, when he walks into a room, he fills up the room. He mentored Brad Brunell, who was also coach. You think either of those guys are potentials?
I don't.
No.
Not realistically. I think there is a, emotional sentiment among sections of the fan base.
Let's go back to the good old
that
days.
Would love to see that happen, and you know, there's no doubt that they would be successful as far as I'm concerned, but I just don't see that happening.
So what standing does interim coach Brooks Lee have in all of this? Any?
You know, Brooks is just handling the day-to-day operations.
And you think he knew that from the onstart that he was not going to be a candidate?
Absolutely, and he told Mertens what he wanted to do from the time he took over at the end of January until whenever he relinquished those duties was to restore as much health to the program as he possibly could and get it in as good of shape as possible for the next coach. You know, his name has been floated as a candidate. What's interesting is Brooks has no interest whatsoever in the job.
And that was set forth.
Sure.
That understanding was out there when he took it.
Right.
You wrote in a recent blog, quote, "Be careful, Miss Mertens. It's only the future of your university's athletic department that's riding on this decision." Pretty strong statement, probably very true, but expand a little on it.
Well, without a football program at UNC Wilmington, basketball is the flagship program. And it's no coincidence that the height of membership in the Seahawk Club, the height of donations, the height of ticket sales for basketball games occurred around 2002, 2003. The program had been to 3 NCAA tournaments in 4 seasons. Can the department sustain itself without a successful men's basketball program? Yeah. You know, it's not in any jeopardy of collapsing or folding or anything, but there are numerous capital improvements that need to be made to facilities over there.
Well,
And you get into that sort of thing, and in order for those things to happen, you have to have a successful basketball.
Well, that dovetails into my next question. How much input do big private donors have to the program?
Well, they have a tremendous amount.
They do, don't they?
Absolutely. At every Division I program in the country,
And before someone's hired, it's run by some of these people.
well, you know, to what degree, probably only those people will know,
Right.
but certainly they're going to be involved in the conversation. You know, at a place like UNC Wilmington, where there aren't as many people stroking as big of a check, those people probably have even more influence than they would other places.
So would you say Merton's job is on the line as far as getting men's basketball, the program, back on track?
I think this is the most important decision she has faced to this point. She has been here. This is her 3rd year. She has 1 year remaining on her contract. I think it's very important that she make a good hire, restores some health, restores some confidence, and, you know, creates an attitude where people think, okay, hey, we're finally headed back in the right direction.
We're winners.
Yeah.
We're going to be winners.
Right.
We're going to come back. We'll talk more with Brian Mull, Star News reporter. We'll talk about recruiting and who the heck cares about athletics at university where higher learning is supposed to be number one. We'll talk about all of that when we come back. Stay with us.